So, today we're going to talk about something called Manaviya Vidyut, which basically means human electricity. Now, I know it sounds a little out there, but it's this ancient idea about the vital energy that flows inside all of us. And you'll see, it's way more relevant to our lives today than you might think.
Let's just dive right in. Have you ever stopped to think about what's really fueling your brain when you're super focused or when you have a great creative idea? What if I told you there's a kind of hidden electrical current inside you? A personal power source that you can actually learn to control and direct.
Well, this internal power source has a name, Pran Urja, or vital energy. The easiest way to think about it is as the fundamental life force that powers, well, everything, from your most complex thoughts to the simple act of breathing. It is the raw fuel for your entire being.
So here's how we're going to break it all down. First, we'll get into the secret of this vital energy. Then, we'll explore what Gurudev calls divine electricity. After that, we'll touch on the science behind how it gets transformed, see how this all applies to our daily lives, and finally, we'll wrap up with the key ways you can actually conserve it.
Okay, first up, the secret of vital energy. The whole concept really hinges on one single powerful principle of conservation. In this tradition, it's called Sanyam.
Now, this quote from Gurudev is so important because it flips a common idea on its head. He's explaining that Sanyam isn't about saying no to life or restricting yourself, not at all. It's about consciously and purposefully directing your energy, making it move upwards toward higher goals.
So the big takeaway here is that Sanyam is a form of masterful energy management. It's the art of taking this incredibly precious life force and channeling it into things like creativity, learning, and personal growth, instead of just letting it fizzle out without any real purpose.
So let's build on that. In this next part, we're going to connect that conserved energy directly to your mental and spiritual power, what our source material calls divine electricity.
Wow, okay, this quote from the text really packs a punch. It's saying that the practice of conserving vital energy is the divine electricity that literally wakes up your intellect, your meta, and strengthens your willpower, your Sankalp Shakti. It's the direct fuel for a sharp, focused, and determined mind.
And this chart just lays it out perfectly. You've got two paths, right? When your vital energy is just scattered and dissipated, the result is hras, which is basically depletion. It leads to weakness, and you just feel kind of dull. But when you conserve it, that same energy transforms into ojas, a deep inner strength and vigor, and tejas, a kind of personal magnetism, a radiance. It's literally a choice between depletion and personal power.
Now, I know what you might be thinking. This all sounds pretty philosophical, maybe a little mystical. But here's where it gets really interesting. There's a fascinating parallel in modern biology. This section's all about the science of sublimation, which kind of acts as a bridge between this ancient wisdom and things we understand today.
And again, Gurudev's words just hammer home this idea of transformation. The exact same biological energy that can be, wasted on fleeting pleasures is described as the raw material for building that inner strength and charisma we were just talking about. And get this, here's where science chimes in. Modern endocrinology, which is the study of our hormones, confirms that the body's vital fluids are packed with complex proteins and chemicals. When they're conserved, they get reabsorbed by the body, basically providing this super high-grade fuel for your brain and your entire nervous system. How cool is that?
So, how does this whole sublimation thing actually work? Let's walk through it step by step. First, your body produces these super potent vital fluids. Second, through the practice of sanyam, that energy is conserved instead of wasted. Third, that conserved energy is then redirected or sublimated so it moves upward in the body. And finally, this refined energy becomes the premium fuel that nourishes your brain and your higher centers of consciousness.
Okay, so that's the theory and the science. But what does this all mean for our day-to-day lives? Let's move on to the path to harmony and see how these ideas apply directly to our most important relationships.
This quote from Gurudev really brings it home, highlighting a super tangible benefit. It suggests that when this discipline of energy conservation is practiced within a family, it can have a direct positive impact on the health and intelligence of the next generation.
And it doesn't stop there. It really forms the foundation of a harmonious life. It's said to strengthen that creative bond between partners, help maintain attraction and respect for the long haul, and it fosters a really healthy, stable environment. All of those things are pretty much the cornerstones of a happy family, right?
All right, we've covered a lot of ground. So in this final section, let's bring it all together. We're going to distill everything down into 3 practical keys: real, actionable steps you can take to cultivate and conserve your own vital energy.
Okay, number one, and this is the big one, practice sanyam, or mindful restraint. Now remember, this is not about suppression. It's about developing conscious control over your impulses. It means you start making deliberate choices about where you invest your absolute most precious resource, your energy.
Second, you've got to actively channel that energy you've conserved. Don't just hold on to it, redirect it. Pour that extra vitality into your work, into your art, maybe learning a new skill. The point is to give that powerful energy a productive and positive outlet.
And third, cultivate what's known as a sattvic or harmonious lifestyle. Really, this just means making choices that promote balance and positivity, everything from the food you eat to the content you consume. It's all about creating an environment, both inside and out, where your vital energy can really thrive.
So that brings us to our final thought. I want to leave you with this question. If you start thinking of your vital energy as your most valuable currency, something you can either spend carelessly or invest wisely, the question becomes very, very personal. How are you going to choose to invest it?
This material is based on the literature of Gurudev. It should not be considered a substitute for expert advice.